So we're going to set our axles. The first thing we need to do is find the axle center line. And the way we're going to do that is there's a formula you have to follow. And sorry about the dog, the neighbor's dog's always barking. The formula you want to follow is 60-40. So you want 60% of the weight in front of the axles and 40% in the rear. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the overall deck measurement of the trailer. And this deck is going to be 20 feet from front to rear. That's not including the tongue. So with this one, we're going to do 20 feet. So 20 feet, we're going to multiply that times 0.6 or by 0.4. It'll either give you the 60 or the 40. So if you measure it by 0.4, that gives you just over 8 feet. It's 8.123 continuing or something like that. So when we do that, we're going to measure from the rear to 8 feet, and we're going to mark that. And when we mark center line, on a set of tandem axles like this, when we mark our center line, it's going to be the middle of the two axles. It's not going to be front or rear. If you are doing a single axle trailer, you're just going to measure to the center line of your one axle. And this 60-40 works for any trailer you build. This is the bracket that I'm talking about. Okay, here's our 8-foot mark. And we want to make sure that this is lined up perfectly with our 8-foot mark. Okay, same thing on that side. And then we'll worry about the rest. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, and I actually did this when I was making the trailer itself, I came and measured out from the ends and from this side on both sides. And I welded a bolt on both of these front corners to make sure that I have a solid, exact place to measure from, where I can just hook my tape measure up there and I know that it's going to be at the exact same place on both sides. Because if you look, the angle on this end is not completely straight and it kind of kicks out and up. That's just from the shear at the metal supply place. They use a shear on those, and I just never dressed that end. On that end, when I used my bandsaw, the blade kicked over just about 1/8 of an inch. So that made it to where it's not perfectly straight either. So that's why I had to measure from the far end and the outside of the steel, and I marked it out so I know that every time I measure this, I'm going to have an exact place, and I can just kick that bolt when I'm done and break it off of there on both sides. So the first thing you're going to want to do, you're going to hook your tape measure on there. Follow me this way. And we're going to cross measure everything we do. And you want to make sure that every time you measure this, it's to the same spot on each side. So this side here, I've got 163 7/8. Okay? So 163 7/8 on that side. And we'll measure the other side. Again, you want to try and remember where you measured to. And there I'm at 163 7/8. So, I am right on according to that. Then you'll go ahead and you'll tack them. And I like to use my speed square and set my speed square up to make sure that I'm following the proper line. That I know that those are both straight up and down, and this piece of steel is in my way, but you understand what I'm talking about. That's going to be completely parallel. You see me how I put this little piece right here? That's because this axle is heavier than our front one. This is our braking axle. So it's going to want to push the spring pack down. We don't want that. We want this to be as level as we can with the trailer. Okay? Whether the ground is level or not, that doesn't matter. But this needs to be level with the trailer as much as possible, the way we are sitting right now. We've got our center line. We've got it cross-measured and straight. Don't forget to like and subscribe.